Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, so I thought I was gonna make this video a bit more serious and like edit it a certain way and not do jump. Well, I guess do some jump cuts, but just like pace it a bit better. Do it with my actual camera, make a whole setup, edit it, and put it in post, and then upload it to YouTube on the channel. But I feel like because it's a more lighthearted story, and it's not as serious in tone as some of the actual more deeper, like serious situational stuff I'm going to be talking about in other videos past this. I don't think it's right to make it that way, because again, I don't want the tone for me on YouTube to be very serious. I want it to be more agile and stuff that I do and make. So I don't think that would make sense making this video like those videos, right? Because it's completely different. It's not bad at all. It's actually a fun story, right? So I'm going to do it this way. I think why not just sit here too and make this video like this and talk, and talk about it like I just did on the first video, you know? And disclaimer to Dustin Dailey. If you see this and you don't like it, it's okay. I can take the video down. It doesn't matter. I don't have any like physical evidence to support like that we actually met. I'm just going off of what I remember. So if you don't believe me, that's okay. I can take it down. If you're not happy about it, I interacted with you on X a few times in the past. I'm sure you can find my account, or if you remember, it's on there. You can just DM me and say, hey, can you take it down? It's okay. Or if you want me to edit certain things out, I can do that too. Whatever you want to do is okay with me. So, listen, it's not like this has to be all end all and sit on YouTube forever. But I am talking about this with Dustin because I think, for two reasons. Number one, I think Dustin is one of those people who runs his career on YouTube as an actual business model versus his lifestyle versus a lifestyle. And number two, he's very nice, I think, off camera versus what people like to say about him on camera. And I think he's one of the few people who can decide, can have that gray area between who they're, a real life, who you are, and versus who you are on camera. Like, there's a difference. I think he realizes that. Well, I know he realizes that because that's the way he carries himself. But and number two, I think for me, it also telling this story, it kind of goes. It's the origin part of going into like all the other YouTube stuff and how I got interacted with other YouTuber people over the years and how I got thrown back into YouTube and all this stuff over the years. So I feel like this is like the start of it, right? And again, if Dustin wants me to delete this, I can like make a different video talking about like the origins and stuff like this, of like me coming back into being introduced to YouTube back in 2016. So it's not a big deal. But anyway, so so here we go. So back in 2016, I was going to school in the spring semester of 2016. In January, I started at UNC Charlotte, which is one of the state schools in the UNC system in North Carolina. And I went for meteorology. So glad it didn't happen now, because I realized very early on that I cannot do the math. I barely passed my requirement at the school I'm at now to finish my film degree. Because, like, I'm telling you, like, literally, I can't do math. Like, I just would not have been able to do meteorology and be a weather forecaster. Would not have happened. So I got accepted the spring before in 2015, but they told me I had to wait to go to school. I had to wait to go to school until the spring semester, because they said they didn't have enough space for me in the dorms or whatever, because they were redoing a lot of the dorms. And of course, I got stuck on the old dorm tower. And the first floor was the office for like financial aid and housing, which it was like, it just made no sense. It was like and I think that's how I got sick too. I got my neuropathy and all the issues I got from friggin' my immune problems from that friggin' school, because like they didn't clean the vents out. They were so dirty, the intake, the return vents, and all the dorm rooms. It was disgusting. I also met who I could have friggin' married, the one guy I really liked, but that never happened. And now I found out he's divorced from his husband, and I'm like, I had a chance. Oh, that's not nice. I shouldn't say that. But well, he knew he had issues back then with him too, so it's not like that's not like it's not the truth. But I don't know. Overall, Charlotte was a beautiful city, and I loved going to Charlotte and to downtown and stuff. But it was like a fever dream almost like when you go on vacation to certain places and you're like, oh, I love it here, but like you spend a little too much time there, like on vacation, like you go for like 10 days or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm getting like sucked into this world, and like you're losing a sense of reality, like with the big picture of everything. That's how I felt down in Charlotte. Charlotte's a beautiful place. Would love to visit like on vacation again, like for just a few days, but more than like a week, I feel like I would start to lose myself again. And long term, like I was there in the spring semester, it was just not fun. I like really got depressed, and I think I lost my mind a little bit, honestly, too. But besides the point. So I went, and I think honestly I think they wanted me to like wait a semester because I think they were hoping that I would say, you know what, I don't want to go to UNC. I want to go somewhere else, because I think they were kind of like upset my math scores weren't that high, but whatever, and my SATs, but whatever. But in any case, so I started in January 2016, and I had the dorm room to myself. Actually, it was supposed to be a shared dorm room, a commune, because we had communal bathrooms on like it was like a tower building dorm, and like each it was set up like very like uniform, like each like it was like a square. It was a square building, and like each side of the square like had like the dorm corridors on the one side, and then on the other side like the bathrooms were on that side. And then you go through another fire door. In the center was like the communal area. And it was like there was like a well, there was like a TV and like couches like on each set of floors, and then like there was like a well looking under into like the common area, because like on my floor on the fifth, you would like there was like a rotunda kind of thing going around like the commune area that was on the floor underneath. You could like see down into it. It was like open, and so it was really cool, but like it wasn't renovated. It was like the last building they were going to renovate, and of course I got stuck with it because it was the cheapest. But my mom felt so bad afterwards. She's like, "Oh my God, why'd you let me make you go down at that building?" I said, well, I didn't know it was that bad either. It was a mess. But I had mono. I got sick from this guy who got me mono on a date. I got really sick. That's probably also why I got the immune neuropathy issues. But it was just so bad. But anyway, I'll talk about that in another video one day too. It was just a mess. But through being sick and losing my mind, I went back to YouTube and like was reintroduced to Shane Dawson and all these people from Shane Dawson, because he started his podcast that same year, or on Full Screen he started it. Because I had no idea who like Dustin Dailey. I had no idea who like Gabby Hanna was, who Tana Mojo was at that point, who Drew Monson was. Like all these people I met through Shane, right? And it's such a shame now thinking back, like how I was introduced to all these people through Shane, and now he's an asshole. It's like, it's just such a shame, like all that power and all that influence you have, and it's like you're just not a good person at the end of the day, like doing certain things you're doing. It's like I don't know. I just don't understand. I wish people would just, I don't know, especially him. It's like all the not my hopes and dreams, literally, but all the what's the word I'm looking for? All of the prospective, like, things you could be doing with your life, and you're just wasting it doing stupid stuff and like getting involved in stupid drama and doing things the way you like treat people. It just doesn't make sense to me. But again, I'm not him, so I can't live my life like that. But anyway, so in January that year, when I first got to UNCC for short, my friend up in Jersey, she's like, have you been on Tinder yet? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I should go on Tinder yet, because I turned 18 in 2014 in my junior year of high school. I was a year older than everybody. So by the time I got to UNCC, I was already 19. I was going to turn 20 that May when the semester ended. And she was like, I think you should really go on Tinder now, because like you're out of high school. It's not like you don't have to worry about like, someone like abusing you or using you or like, manipulating you or like getting yourself into bad situations. Because again, to remember, I was still in high school. I could have legally gone on Tinder and stuff, but why would I do that when I'm still, my perception to the world is much different than someone who's already graduated out of high school, and like in the real world, so to speak. So I was like, yeah, I get it. She's like, but no, do it now. I'm like, all right, fine. So I did. I made an OkCupid account. I made a Tinder account. Most of the people I matched with on Tinder and OkCupid, like, I didn't like them. They were very nice. I met one person who I like befriended, and we went out and did stuff together in Charlotte and whatever. But in the same token of that, in the same side of that token, I should say, like there were a lot of people I met who were just kind of like crazy, a lot of like not unhinged people down in Charlotte actually, who were not really nice. A lot of people who were trying to like, I guess now looking back at 27, I can like, yeah, they were like trying to like, use me and manipulate me for whatever they wanted to do, and it's not a healthy situation, But I did match with a few people. I went on a few dates with some guys who were really nice, and it just didn't work out because they just thought I was too young, or I wasn't what they expected. I'm just like that in real life too, I guess. I think who I am in first impressions and also on camera, I'm not the same person I am off camera. So I think that kind of surprises people, and the people it surprises, they end up staying. The people it disgusts, they go away. Like the people I draw in, they end up going away. The people that they think they hate me, they tend to like me because like I'm not who they think I am. I remember hearing that a lot of the time too when I was down there. They're like, "Wow, I thought you were gonna be like an asshole. You seem like an asshole in your bio." And when we talked on Tinder, I was like, "Oh God," but. By late March, it was like I didn't even care. I wasn't even thinking about Tinder or anything. I was watching YouTube videos and getting acquainted back with Shane Dawson and watching his podcast and everything, and becoming more into this world of YouTube and like the digital media format. But one night I matched with someone named Dustin, and I should also look up how old Dustin is because I can't remember. I think he was 28 and I was 20 or 19, or was he 27? Let's see, Dustin Dailey, famous birthdays, if this is even his correct birthday. But anyway, so Dustin messaged me first. He said, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "I'm doing very good," and blah blah blah. And we were having we had a great conversation. The way he like went into the conversation was so funny. He's like, I don't know. Dustin's like this a lot. I see it on Twitter sometimes when he's like throwing shade at people. In November 25th, 87. November 15th. So let's see. He was born in 87, so 10, 20. So he turned 30 in 2017, but this was 2016, so he was still 28, so he was about to turn 29. And I remember that was the first thing he had said to me, right? He was like, "Are you sure it's okay?" Because I'm like almost 10 years older than you. I'm like, "It's okay. I don't care." Like, I like older guys. I still do. I have the opposite problem James Charles has, so everyone knows. I like guys 5 to 10 years older than me. James Charles can't say that. A mess. We'll talk about him another day too. But anyway, so Dustin he's like, "Bitch, show me your freaking ID." And I was like, "Oh, I can do it. I don't care." He's like, "I don't trust you." And so this is where I didn't understand he was playing with me, because like that's just how he is. And I didn't understand at a young age. Now I get it. Like I think it's funny. I would have been flirting and being, playful back. But I'm like, okay. So like I sent him my driver's license and I crossed out my address and everything. I sent it to him. He's like, "I didn't mean you guys should do it, bitch. I just was playing with you." I'm like, "Well, you said to send it." So I did. And but he was like, "It's okay. It's okay. You didn't know what I was doing." And so, but he sent me his back too, which I thought was really nice. He showed me his age and everything and blah, 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 which I thought was really sweet. He didn't have to do that, but he did. So we were talking and I was like, "Oh my God." And, we were getting to know each other. And, I remember he was like, "I'm really tired. I have to get off," because we were trying to talk and get to know each other. And I remember he's like, "I really like you. You seem like a nice guy," and like just more conversation, talking about stuff. And he was asking me about school and like what I was going to school for and doing this. He's like, "Oh, a smart guy," and like, "Oh, he like being flirty and everything." He was really funny. But I remember, and I don't remember this or not. And maybe Dustin can leave a comment in this in the comments underneath if you remember. I don't remember. Well, I'm sure he does. It was his life. But he was like, "I'm really tired." It was like 7 or 8 o'clock. He was talking to me. He's like, "I have to get to bed because I drive like 45 minutes or 50 minutes to work, or almost an hour sometimes with traffic." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Go to bed. Like I have to go to class tomorrow. It's okay." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Is it?" And what did he say? He was like, "It's so." I don't remember if he said he worked outside of. I think he lived in a smaller city outside of Charlotte, but that's how we matched, because he matched with me when he was at work, because he worked near Charlotte or in Charlotte, and so he would have to drive like 45 minutes to an hour back each way. to go home and and he's like, it's a lot. He goes, it takes a lot out of me because I get done late. And like by the time I get home, I just want to like relax, like eat dinner and just like get ready for the next day. And I'm like, I totally get it. And again, I like that he was being honest like that, because again, all the other guys I was talking to were like not telling me about their, like, you want to get to know someone, but you're not telling about their private lives. Like even today, like at 27, I'm like, I don't get guys, I don't even get people in general. It's like, why even like keep things secretive if you don't want to talk about stuff, But I found it endearing. I thought it was really nice that he was being so upfront about stuff, and just, being honorable about like, hey, I have to get up early, this is how my work schedule is and everything. I'm like, no, I totally get it. It's okay. It's like, yeah, so would it be okay if I text you like on Tinder again tomorrow around at 7:00? I'm like, absolutely. So, and I have to say, every time I'll get to that in a minute. So next night at 7:00, he's like, hey, it was a busy day. Is it okay if we talk tomorrow? I'm really tired. I have to drive home. Right? I just got home. It was a long drive. Is it okay? I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. He always kept his word and said he would always respond at the same time, and he always did that, which I thought was really nice. So the next night we actually started talking again, right? And we were talking about like, okay, I'll tell you this story too. So he, again, have never talked about this on camera ever. Have kept this a secret for 7.5 years. I've never talked about this on camera to him, to anybody, on YouTube, anywhere. I have to itch my nose so bad. Hold on. Okay. No edits tonight. We're just going through it. By the way, I itched my nose with my knuckles, not with my fingers. That's gross. So he said, so we were getting to know each other, and he said, so where would you want to go to eat? And so people at school have been telling me about like this Italian place that was like in this like, it was like the mall, but it was also like a part of the mall, like outside of Charlotte, but it was like an outlet kind of thing, but like it was like very expensive. It was like, I don't know, it was like the be all end all, like to the Charlotte shopping area, this shopping district. And so I told him the name of that because everyone told me that you should go there. It was like this nice Italian restaurant. It looked like, it was like the actual like 5-star version of Olive Garden, basically. And they had like the outside Venetian lights, and like it was like dressed up like it was like a Venice like restaurant, like really good Italian food. And so he goes, well, where do you like to eat? And so I'm telling him like, I like Chinese, I'll eat this. I like American food. And he's like, bitch, you're not telling me like all this, like, baby, you're not telling me like what you actually want to eat. You're just telling me like generic stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, it's like ham, turkey, chicken. He's like, what the fuck is this, Thanksgiving? And it was just, I was dying in my dorm room because it was so funny. Oh, and I was supposed to have a roommate in my dorm room, but he left in the fall because he got an apartment off campus with someone he met on campus he was my age, but he didn't tell the university that he left the housing, so like he was still paying for housing. I didn't understand, like he was still paying for housing with me in the same dorm room, but he had an apartment off campus. I didn't understand that, like, and I told my RA, and he's like, he hasn't showed up. Like he said he's not coming back. Like he's on an apartment off campus with his friend, like living there now. And he's like, oh, I'll make sure they know so you can get a new roommate. It never happened. So I know I had an entire room to myself, but I think it's also why I got really depressed. I don't think it was a good situation for me. But anyway, so I'm sitting there laughing my ass off and everything. Dustin's reacting. He's sending me like all these emojis. He's like, bitch. He's like, I'm not asking for a Thanksgiving feast. He goes, I want to know what you want to eat. I'm like, okay. It's like, be reasonable. I'm like, all right, fine. So I'm like, all right, well, like, chicken, like with like, rice or green beans, or like, an Italian dinner, like with like spaghetti and meatballs is fine with me. He's like, okay, cool. He goes, excuse me. He goes, do you know any places that you already want to go to? Because I'm sure people on school and campus have told you some places. I wish for the life of me I could remember what it was called. It wasn't like the mall. It was like some like special like shopping like outlet mall thing. That he said we were going to go to. I don't remember what it was. I wish I could find it on here. But it was like, so I told him the name of the place, and I'm like, oh yeah, everyone said we should go here. He's like, no, we're not going there. I'm like, why? What's wrong with it? And he's like, baby, number one, he has 3 reasons. Number one, it's expensive. Number 2, the food sucks. And number three, I know better places outside of the city that are much better, much better Italian place. I'm like, okay. And I also remember too, Dustin's like, I'm not big on Italian food, but like, I'll take you because you want to go, which I thought was really nice. And I remember saying to him, no, 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 you don't have to do that. He was very, what's the word? He was very, reassuring, but also equal, like kind of like, you know, kind of like balancing between the both of us, like wanting to like keep everything like equal in the sense of like doing things nice for me, right? Which I thought was really nice. So I said to him, I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, no, there's a better place outside of the Charlotte. He goes, I would love to take you to. It's about equal distance between where my house is versus where you are on campus. He goes, so if you want to come, you could. So back then I didn't know about Uber, or Uber was just becoming a thing like in most areas. Like you could, like now you can get Uber like in the suburbs here in South Jersey. But back then, like even like in North Carolina, like it was still only like an LA and New York thing, right? So they had the yellow cab service, and it was set up like, which was really cool. It was set up like Uber, like you could go on your phone, like on the app, and you could go and get like hail a cab that way. You didn't have to like call someone and like ask them like, hey, this is my address at UNC Charlotte, can you come and pick me up? You just get on the app and the cab would come to you. But they charged so freaking much, like a New York City. It was more than a New York City cab actually. It was like a city and interurban kind of service deal, but like they would charge you even like when you shut the door, like even if you were sitting there and he was like looking for directions on his phone, like to take you to where you were going. Like it was like it was really expensive, but like, and it also got, they took your money out from your credit card. They didn't do cash payments, which I thought was really cool. Which is probably what New York City should have done with the taxis, but they didn't. But anyway, so he's like, so he goes, yeah, we could meet there halfway. So I told him, so I'm gonna take the yellow cab service. He's like, bitch, that's expensive. He's like, are you sure you're gonna do that for me? I'm like, yeah, like we're gonna meet. Like I want to meet you. I think you're a nice guy and everything. I definitely want to meet you. He's like, okay, cool. And so I also remember him saying that same night too. Dustin was like, you're a really nice guy. He goes, a lot of the guys I meet are assholes and like really like just bitches and not really nice about things and not, you know, what did he say? He's like, they're not, you're very honest and like, you say it like it is and you say, you know, like you're upfront like I am about stuff. And I said, no, I appreciate you the same way too. So I feel like that was kind of like for both of us, like a kind of I don't say a growth moment, but like we kind of trusted each other a bit more at that point, right? So we were gonna go to this Italian restaurant. I forget the name. I wish I could remember. He gave me the address and everything too. I'm so upset. He showed me everything too. He also at the same night gave me he goes, I trust you. I'm gonna give you the name of the town I lived in. So then he must have lived. Yeah, because if he I remember him saying that. So he must have lived outside of Charlotte in a smaller city, and then drove to Charlotte or outside of it for work is how it worked. I don't know. I don't remember. Dustin, if you're watching, you tell me because I can't remember. It wasn't South Park. What was it? Not the Charlotte Premium Outlets. Belgatti Shopping Center. No. Oh, I wish I could remember what it was because he told me because it's not fun there. Damn it. It wasn't the outlets. I forget what it was, but it was like some kind of outdoor shopping mall. But anyway, she's like, yeah, we're not going to go there. So, long story short, so we're talking more about stuff, and he's like, so what days are you available? I'm like, okay, well, I'm available. He goes, I said, well, I like to go out Friday and Saturday. He goes, look, not that I don't want to go out with you on Saturdays or Fridays, but Fridays, I just want to go home and relax after working, because he worked 5 days a week. I think he worked 5 days a week. He was like, yeah, I work 5 days a week. I just want to go home and relax. And he was, and honestly, like, I don't want to be, I don't want to like, and I have stuff to do on Saturday because again, I work all week, so I like have to go out and go shopping and get stuff done during the weekend. So I really don't want to like. He's not that I don't like you enough to do that, but I really need to get stuff done. And again, I have to tell you, I like someone who just says it like it is like that, because again, it makes life so much easier just being truthful about stuff like that. I'm like, no, it's no problem at all. I totally get that. He goes, so what other days could you do? Could you change things for me? I'm like, yeah. So I said, well, what about like He said Mondays and Wednesdays are my easier days at work. He goes, so I get done a bit earlier most of those days, and I can get home earlier. So he goes, those would be the days we could go out to eat. And he goes, it's too busy on the weekends. I want to take you when it's not crazy. I'm like, okay. So I said, Wednesday I don't remember what I had on Mondays. I forget what classes, but I know Wednesday I had my afternoon class. I got done like at 3:30. Or 4 o'clock it got done. My Spanish class. We had, of course, how ironic, but to take Spanish in a southern state to requirement at a southern school to actually, for our requirements, for the university requirements. I couldn't believe that. And here at my school, I don't even have to do that, so it's whatever. But I got a D in the class, by the way. It was terrible. I'm not good at Spanish, but anyway. So I told myself I have a Spanish class on Wednesdays, but I get done early at 4. So I said we could go and get done. I could get done, go back and take a shower, and leave at 5, and we go to the Italian place. Like, okay, cool. So he's like, okay, well, I don't know what day yet, because I'll let you know next week. I'm like, that's fine. So he's like, I want to talk to you again on Saturday when I'm done running around doing errands and stuff. So would 6 or 5 o'clock be okay to talk again on Tinder? He goes, not that I don't trust you, he said, but I just want to give you my phone number, because you might be some crazy bitch that's trying to kill me. And he had the emojis of the knives, and I just thought it was so funny, how he was just doing. I don't know, I just like that, but I thought that was so fun. I'm like, no, bitch, I'm not trying to kill you. I get it. It would always make me laugh out loud when he did those emoji stuff and would react like that. It was going, no, bitch. It was funny to me, right? So he said, and again, always, every time he would communicate, he always would say, we're going to, and see, some people would not like that, but I liked it, that he was always saying, we're going to talk at this time, at this point on the day, at 7 o'clock, blah, 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 whatever, right? Some people don't like that, but I like having organization like that in my life. So I appreciate that he would do that. So comes along Saturday night, 7 o'clock, he texts me on Tinder, so I text him back. And he goes, why is it always me that has to initiate the conversation first, bitch? He goes, fuck you, you need to do it too. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you, I know you're busy. He was like, no, bother me, it's okay. Just tell me what time you're going to text me and I'll respond. Because that's what he liked too. He didn't want to send a message and then not have to wait for me to respond. He wanted us to keep talking so we get to know each other faster, which I thought was really smart, actually. So we were talking more. It's so do you watch, what do you like to do in your private life? And, what do you like to do in general? He's like, what do you want out of a relationship? And I was telling him, he's like, wow, that's really nice and everything. And he was telling me what he went out of a relationship and everything too. He goes, are you sure it's not creepy that I'm older? I'm like, no, it's not creepy. I'm going to be 20. It's not that creepy. I'm not weirded out by it, blah, blah, blah. And so we were talking, and I hope that's okay to talk about too. I don't know. But anyway. So we were talking, and he was like, do you watch YouTube and stuff? I said about my interest and everything. I'm like, yeah, I do. He goes, who do you watch? I'm like, oh, I just started watching Shane Dawson again. Fun fact, Dustin's like, I don't watch Shane Dawson. I know who it is, because I just don't watch his stuff anymore. Because I did when I was younger, but I said I was never really interested in his stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember saying to him, yeah, we were talking about his food videos and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I watch his food videos sometimes, and I really like that stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, me too. I said, yeah, but the old videos, I remember, what did I say to him? I was like, yeah, the old videos, I don't only watch, because again, and that's still true to today. I was like, yeah, I only like watching his older stuff, where it's the behind the scenes stuff. Because Shane used to make the sketches, the sketch videos. But then on Saturdays and Fridays he would or I think it was Saturdays, he would upload the behind the scenes vlog stuff. And that's the stuff I like to watch. With him and Shauna Malcolm, his mom, his brother, and all the people he was working with, doing stuff behind the scenes and setting stuff up for the sketches. That was the kind of stuff I like watching, right? So I was like, telling him, he's like, oh wow, that's interesting. You like to wow. I'm going too fast. I'm getting nervous. I'm so afraid he's gonna get mad at me for talking about this stuff. If he even remembers. But no, I remember I was like, yeah, I liked watching the behind the scenes stuff when I was younger, when he was still doing that kind of sketch comedy stuff. And he was like, that's really cool. You like watching that kind of stuff. And so he was like, do you know who David Dobrik is? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. And funny, and again, I didn't even know who David was yet until December 2016 when I started watching his vlog stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know who David Dobrik is. I have no idea. He's like, good. He's, I think Dustin's like, yeah, I don't watch his stuff that much, but he's blowing up. He says a lot of people like his stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, and then this is where we got interesting, right? He was talking about the YouTube stuff, and he had said, He goes, yeah, I watch a lot of beauty commentary stuff. And I'm like, well, what's that? What's beauty commentary? And so I was blown away at this point in my life, right? Because I was surprised that even, he's like, there's like commentary channels talking about like beauty influencers. I'm like, really? Like they're like YouTubers? He's like, yeah, they're like YouTubers. And, like they do stuff on camera, but like they do like people's makeup and like they talk about stuff, reviewing makeup and stuff. I'm like, oh, well, that's, I get that. But like, I'm like, I don't know. It was so interesting to me to find out there was like a huge world of it, like on YouTube at that point, right? And and Dustin telling me this, I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. And I don't remember if Dustin had made videos yet, but he was like, yeah, I watch a lot of stuff and I interact with a lot of people. I think he said it at the time. He said, I'm going to start making videos myself. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I said, I'm going to start making videos myself too. That's why we kind of bonded over that. He's like, oh baby, I got a lot. We're gonna have a fun time. We talk in person about all this YouTube stuff. And I was like, hell yeah, we are. And so I forget. There was he was we talked about some other YouTuber. Maybe I shouldn't say their name because I remember who it is now. And we were talking about like how they were kind of shitty to people and like kind of an asshole. It's like, bitch, put a dry dildo up his ass and make him scream, and then we'll see how nice he still is. And I had tears running down my face. It was just he just was quick and just would say things really quick after I would respond to it. I just liked that. It was funny, right? I still remember him saying that. It was so funny. It was so funny in the moment. But I'm trying to see if when his first video was made, because I don't think he was making videos yet. And he was talking about it with me. But so I think so he's like, all right, I have to go to bed. He's like, no, we were talking still, and then he's like, well, I have to go do stuff. I'm sorry. I see, and the thing is too, I think he wanted to talk to me on the phone by that point, but I was still nervous to talk to him on the phone because I was like, I don't want to like, I'm just nervous. I don't want to give this guy my phone number if he's like kind of creepy or like acting like a normal person, right? So he's like, and I even said that, and why don't you want to talk on the, because like I was hesitant to like give him my phone number. He's like, why don't you want to is everything okay? Like, you're not feeling it? It was the same night, on Saturday night. And he was like, is everything okay? Like, are you uncomfortable? Like, do you not want to talk anymore? I'm like, no, that's not it. I just want to make sure you're like legit. Like, I don't want to like give you my phone number, like you like be a stalker and like message me and stuff and like keep calling me and stuff and do weird stuff. He's like, I totally get it. It's okay. Like, you could just tell me from the beginning, you idiot. Like, I wouldn't have been upset. He's like, no, I totally get it. Like, whatever you want to do, like, I'll give you as much space as you need. We can keep talking on Tinder, which we did. So he was like, I have to go now because I have stuff to do tomorrow. He's like, so we'll talk again like on Monday or something after work. I'm like, okay. So he did. He talked to me at 6:00 on Monday. He's like, so we were trying to figure out a date to like actually get stuff done, like to go on the date. But then he said this, and I thought this was funny too, and I kind of felt the same way at this point. Dustin and I don't know. I'm afraid to talk about this. This is not okay. So I'll put it this way. I thought Dustin was very attractive. And then Dustin said the same thing about me. He thought I was very cute. It felt though like we could have been better friends than it was relationship. He goes, I like you a lot but I feel like you're so quiet and like still so young, and like the sense of like you're just like, I wasn't naive, but like you're so quiet. Like I can tell like you're shy, really shy. He goes, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm like, no, it's okay. But I remember, okay. He messaged me at like 4:00 on Monday. He said, hey, I think you're still in class. He goes, but I want to talk to you about something at 6:00 tonight when I get home from work. I'm like, oh shit. He wants to say like he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. I'm too boring, or I'm not nice, or this or that, the other, or he doesn't like me or whatever. And honestly, at that point too, I had felt like I don't know. It just felt like we could be more best friends than anything else in like an actual relationship, if that makes sense. And so I kind of was feeling like whatever happens at that point. Like if we go on a date, we don't like each other, but we still want to be friends, and then whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, but then at the same point, I'm like, maybe he's saying he doesn't want to talk to me anymore, which is okay too. So I get home, I get back to my dorm. It's 6:00. He says, hey, he goes, I want to talk to you. He goes, did you see my thing? I was like, yeah, I did. So I said, what's up? He's like, listen, he goes, I think you're a great guy. He goes, right now there's a lot going on in my life. And I don't remember if it was his sister or his mother who was having some issues. I think I don't think anyone died at that point. I don't think no one died in 2016. I know what happened in 2020, and I felt very bad when I found out his his what is his sister passed away, or his mom? No, his sister. Oh, I can't remember. Um, this is the kind of stuff I should have looked up before I made the video, because now it looks like I look like a fucking idiot. Um, I felt so bad though. Yeah, it was his sister who passed away in 2020, and I felt so bad because it reminded me of, he said there's a lot of stuff going on with, I can't remember if it was his mom or his sister in 2016. He goes, it only happened like a month ago. He's like, yeah, there's some, she almost died. I don't remember if it was his sister or his mom who was going through some things, and I was like, and he told me this, and I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, because you're a nice guy, but I feel like I just don't want to hang on to you, like, as I feel like I'm like taking up your space, and I as much as I think you're really cute and we could maybe have a relationship, he goes, I feel like we'd be much better friends at this point in time. He goes, I still want to get to know you. And so there was things going through my head when he said that in the text on Tinder. I'm like, well, number one, like, I feel bad, like, he's telling me this about his family. Like, he's going through family stuff, and like, he doesn't have to worry about me. Like, he should go do his own thing, like, worry about his problems, right? And number two, I felt like he was saying that to me on purpose, like, in that way, because he didn't want to, like, he wanted to, like, let me down gently, so to speak. Like, he didn't want to, like, say directly, like, you're too young, or like, you're nice, but you're not like really my type, or like, take care, bye bye. Like, he didn't want to upset me. And so that's what I thought he was trying to do. And I'm like, listen. So I said, listen, if you don't want to do that, then that's okay. I'm fine with that. Like, I said, honestly, I feel like we could be much better friends than we could be in a relationship too. Like, I feel like you could be my best friend. It's like, we get along much better like that. I said, I think we're a little too alike in some areas. So I think it would be I would love to have you as a best friend, or like even just to get to know you as a friend at this point. I said, but if you really are just saying that because you don't want me to be upset, I'm like, I'm not upset. Like, if you don't want to talk to me at all, like, you can, like, we can stop talking now and forget an unmatch and never talk again. Like, it's totally okay. And he was like, no, like, I still want to talk to you. I'm just letting you know, because, like, I can't remember if it was his sister or his mom who was having issues at that point, or I don't think anyone passed away at that point, but there were some issues with his sister or his mom. I can't remember, and he had said, no, like, you have been like actually like a godsend in a way, because like you're actually like really helping me get through, like keeping my mind off it, like in a good way, like not like maybe keeping me completely distracted, but like enough to like where I'm like remembering, like there's like a life, like there's like we'll move on, like everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, are you sure? It's like, no, I'm telling you the truth, like that's how I feel, like 100%, like still want to meet you, but let's still go out, but like just as like friends at this point. I'm like, I totally feel the same way, I agree. And so I was like, okay, cool. So that's all taken care of. So then so he's like, all right, Wednesday we're going to go out. He's like, is this Wednesday okay? You want to go out to dinner? I'm like, yes. So Wednesday comes around. I get back. He texts me. He goes, hey, listen, I'm really tired. I got home really late from work. I'm really sweaty. By the time it takes me to get ready and showered and out to go see you, it's going to be too late. He goes, I hope you can understand. We'll try to shoot again for next week. And I'm like, that's fine. So I'm so sorry. I keep clearing my throat. I need a drink of water, but I'm going to finish the story before it gets too late. So we talked again over the weekend. He was talking, we were again getting to know each other, talking about stuff. And I think he was asking me about, we were talking about some dirty things, actually. I can't talk about that. Oh, God. But yeah, we were talking about that kind of stuff. Then we were talking about, like, what we want to do, like, outside our careers and everything. And, like, I think he even said to me, too, he's like, well, why don't you just do YouTube and, like, go to, like, change your major? I'm like, I can't. Everything's on the line. I had to get, like, loans out and blah, blah, blah. And school's like, but yeah, like, you can go do that now. Like, there's a lot, like, why not just do what you want to do? Like, what makes you happy? And, like, I think he could tell that I wasn't happy about certain things, He gave me his phone number at that point, but I still didn't text him because I was still nervous. He's like, well, I got to talk to you before we actually, like, meet. And I think he called me actually that weekend. He called me on the phone, but I declined it twice. And I regret doing that now, of course, at 27, but I just was so nervous. I was like, I don't want him, like, I'm not as hesitant to, like, meet people and let them into my life now. But back then I was very, like, I just was very guarded. I didn't trust anyone right away. So I was like, I said, listen, I know I gave you my number, but listen, I still just don't trust you. He's like, well, I need to hear what you sound like before we freaking go out to dinner. I'm like, well, then I'll send you a freaking voice memo or something, or a voice note, whatever the hell they were called, which I did. He sent me one back, which was very nice. I don't have it on my phone anymore because I have an iPhone now, but I had an Android back then. I had to like record it like through like, he's like, bitch, you don't have an iPhone. I'm like, no, I have an Android. So I had to like send him like the file like through, it was through text. It was a mess. But anyway, but yeah, and I forget what happened. We were supposed to go out that Monday. I think he was busy again. And then at the same time, I don't know. There was just a lot going on. Like, I don't remember like exactly what was happening or what was, I don't know. I can't remember after that, but I do know that he was still being, I mean, again, very nice. We always had stuff to talk about, he and I. He was always upfront about everything. So sweet, too. Like, really cared about what I was talking about. He really would listen to things. And, like, I don't know, just, like, typing things out to him, like, in Tinder conversations and, like, on the text. I think, did we text? I think we might have texted a little bit one day. And then I blocked his number like an idiot after that. But I'll get to that in a minute. But, just automatically understood what I was talking about. Like, and I even said that to him, like we were talking about that. He's like, yeah, I totally get. He's like, I'm a Scorpio, bitch. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm a Taurus. And he's like, oh, that's why I understand you. He goes, I can see you coming from a mile away, baby. Like, I'm gonna fucking, I forget what he said. It was really funny though when he did the emoji thing. It was funny though. But it was not, again, nice to have someone at that point in my life me realizing that now at 27 that there are people that you really can have a great connection with, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to settle for things, right? And just being able to talk to him, and like, I always felt like up until that point too, where, I don't know, I'm getting into deeper stuff now, I guess, maybe I shouldn't get into this, but like, I always felt as if I would say something to people, or even going on a date with people or with guys, and like, they wouldn't understand what I was saying, and like, they would say, well, what do you mean? I would re-explain myself, and like, you know, give better detail, whereas with Dustin, it was like, he just got me right away. He's like, oh, I know what you're saying. Like, and he would just like go into it. I'm like, it's exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, we're just talking about like life things and just stuff like that. He got it, right? We had a lot of the same views on stuff, and just the same, like, we like viewed life and everything. It was really nice. We had a lot of fun times talking about stuff. Our conversations were really nice. What happened though was the third week of us talking, which was the second week of April, or the first week of April actually. So I was going through a lot. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay in my department at UNCC. I was either going to have to change my major or go somewhere else. At that point, I had already gotten accepted to go to Millersville University, which is up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because I knew I couldn't do the math for the program for meteorology down there at UNCC. Looking back, even my mom says this too. Maybe I should just stay there and gone for their communication program. I didn't think about that back then. I thought, I'm not doing that. That's not me. Should have done that. Such an idiot. But I wasn't telling Dustin any of this because again, he's like, I don't like fucking liars. So you better tell me everything about you. He goes, because I'll find out. Like, I'll cut a bitch with his knife emoji, and I'm like, I'll tell you. So I felt like I betrayed him a bit because I wasn't telling him everything that was going on at the same time. Like, it wasn't like I'd known when we first started talking, like, that was it. Like, I think this by the second week of us talking, I knew it wasn't going to go. Like, I wasn't going to stay at UNCC anymore. But he even said, but we even talked about it, though, too, which I don't know why I did this. I'm such an idiot. He was like, I think because I just didn't trust people. I was like, we even talked about that too, actually, now that I remember this. We were talking about him. He was like, you need to trust people more. Like, you need to, like, really take risks and stuff. Because, like, I was talking about, like, I'm always apprehensive about stuff. And he was like, no, like, you need to take risks and do stuff. Because you have to be more open to doing stuff. But he was even saying, like, I even told myself, I don't think I'm coming back to UNCC. He goes, well, then we need to meet. He goes, let's meet each other before you go back up to to Jersey and go to school in Pennsylvania. He goes, we can still be friends over the internet and, like, talk on the phone. He goes, like, why would you not want to do that? And I didn't trust him. I just didn't trust the entire situation. I'm like, there's no way this guy is going to want to talk to me, like, when I move back up, like, 600 miles from Charlotte, North Carolina, from where he lives, and keep talking to me, which, of course, now seeing his relationships with other people on YouTube, he wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. But I just didn't trust him. I'm like, I just was so cynical and mistrusting of people and how people, interacted when I was younger, and just seeing how people, I don't know, just friendships that didn't last, or people pretending they forgot about me in high school and things like that. I just was not. I did not trust a lot of people at that point. I still don't, but still in a different way. Like I don't know. I just think friendships. Well, people are users but again, for different reasons today at 27 versus at 20. It's just like, I was like, there's no way he would do that, but he was going to do it. He said it, but he kept wanting to ask me to talk on the phone and like to pick the date. And I kept putting it off. I'm like, no, I don't know. I got to see what was going on. And again, like the last week we were talking, it was really bad because he was like I could tell like he was getting like kind of like pissed off. He was like, well, are you just like trying to like blow me off like the easy way? Like, you're not telling me you don't want to talk to me now? Like, no, that's not it. I'm like, I just want to tell, I just there's a lot going on next week. And there was like I have like a project due, which it wasn't true. I told him that. And, if I had told him it was everything that was going on, like I was like losing my mind, I was really depressed, and like he would have been like, get the fuck away from me, like don't talk to me, or so I would have thought. But I don't know. He's like, there was so much going on in his life at the time too, like with his situation with his family. I just knew I couldn't do that to him. I felt like I couldn't do that to him, so I didn't want to do it. And so I felt like, because at that point, by me lying to him at that point, I was like, I don't want to do this. So like, I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna like unmatch from him on Tinder, block his number on my phone, and that's it. So I did that. Like late one night, I just unmatched him and blocked him on my phone and never talked to him again. And so, Dustin, if you're watching, I just want to say I'm sorry. There was just a lot. I tried to commit suicide down there at UNCC. It was really bad. It was just, there was a lot going on, but really depressed. It just was not a fun time. And it was nothing about you. You were great. You were a sweetheart, and everything you said about you was true. You proving it on YouTube and who you are now, you're the same person. It's funny because I didn't realize who Dustin was until, I don't really want to see when he made those videos. His first video, maybe he probably did some of the stuff too, though. But I remember watching a video somewhere, like after like in 2018 or 2018, and I'm like, he looks familiar. Why does that guy look familiar on YouTube? Because I was watching Peter Mon by that point, right? And Peter Mon was talking about Dustin Dailey, and I'm like, Dustin Dailey, and I was like, I gotta watch this guy's videos. And so I'm watching Dustin Dailey. I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy I used to talk to at Charlotte. I was like, he did it. Like, I was so proud of him. He actually did it. I'm like, and I didn't do nothing at that point in my life. It was so cool. I have a see Karina Kaboom. It's his first video here.
Get up to $1,000 back in casino.
Yeah, October 5th, 2016. So yeah, he did it after we first started talking. So, but yeah, I just remember that. I remember Peter Mon saying his name, and I was like, oh, I better go watch this other, because I was like starting to like watch all the commentary channels by that point in 2018. Because through Shane Dawson is how I met Peter Mon, or not met him, but you know what I mean. Like I was introduced to his videos and stuff, and then I went on to Dustin's channel, and I'm like, because Peter's like, go watch his videos and stuff and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy I used to talk to. It's so cool. But I never said anything back then, because I'm like, well, no, he doesn't remember me. What's the point? And just seeing him do everything, and then him getting together with Nick Snyder, who I also adore. I think Nick's is so cool. It made me so happy, And I'm not expecting anything from this. I'm not expecting him to like message me and go, hey, you want to talk? Like, I don't expect that, right? But I'm just telling you a fun anecdote of a story, like how sometimes life can kind of introduce you to people you never know what path they might go on, or how they might bring you to some world, or you might be reintroduced to them again later in life. But that was like the early introduction into like YouTube and everything. Like, and Dustin telling me about commentary channels and all this stuff back then. I was like, because I had no idea what any of that stuff was. And later, I'm like, oh my God, he's doing exactly what he was telling me they were going to do back then, or what he was going to do. Like, it just was really cool. It was a really cool moment to like see it full circle. Like, I used to talk to this guy before he started making videos. I don't know, just to talk about it, just to see it like years later and talk about it, it's just interesting and kind of giving you insight in how, again, just how things, again, having these run-ins with people in my life over the years, like how I could have done certain things or maybe done YouTube and I don't become famous, but maybe could have led me to a career path and something else, and doing what I'm going to school to do now, like, just it just kind of to show you how life is crazy sometimes and can kind of paths I think sometimes are actually not just suggested by the universe, but actually made by the universe for you, and it's it's into your free will to go and take those opportunities and go and do that stuff. Um, but yeah, and again, like Dustin said, and has been one of the many people over the years tell me the same thing. Like, take risks, don't be discouraged, keep doing it. And of course, I was discouraged and didn't do stuff, but you know, I didn't do it, and here I am, almost done school and just now starting again. But we'll see what happens. Just want to talk about that story though. I just thought it was interesting. Again, the origins of me starting YouTube. And again, if Dustin, you don't want this up, baby, I can take it down. But I don't think he's gonna message me or anything. It ain't gonna happen. I don't expect it. I don't expect to talk to anybody who I'm talking about. I relationships come naturally, and it's just I don't. I'm just not that person. I just don't like to intrude on people and be like, "Hey, what's up?" I don't do that. Especially when I'm not a person who likes to sit in the country club with other like-minded people. I run my own, I got run by my own road on my life. That's how it is. I'm gonna lose my voice, so I have to go. So hope you enjoyed this 50-minute video. That was fun. Um, Next video will be edited on camera, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys, for watching. Of course, I said it's only going to be a 30-minute video, and here we are, 51 minutes, doing what I did 3 years ago. But, oh well. Have a great night, guys. See you again soon. Bye.